Golf is a sport that requires a lot of skill, and many of us want to play like pro golfers. Now we know we can't really, but each great shot can make us feel like we're pros. Today we'll be giving you 9 equipment secrets that you can learn from pro golfers. Sadly, this isn't going to give you a chance to meet Tiger Woods, but it will take you one step closer to becoming a better golfer. First, you have to get fit for your clubs. Yes, you are great enough to get fitted for your clubs. We know we nailed down hard on this topic, but it is worth your time to get fit for your clubs. You can't strive to be the best player you wish to be if you're playing with ill-fitted equipment. Remember to fit the putter as well, as this might be the most poorly fitted club in your bag. If you're scared to go fitting, here are a few tips. Always bring your gamer as a baseline, and never assume the 1 degree up spec you had on your last irons is good for your next set, because every company has different specs. Get fitted more frequently. Your strokes, body, or both can change quite a lot as time passes, and the best thing to do is get refitted. Next, always have a 7-wood. Recently, we saw a massive increase in 7-woods in pro golfers' bags. 20 to 25% of PGA players will have a 7-wood, and the main reason for this is they found that the ball goes higher, lands way softer, goes through rough patches easier, and is easier to hit shots with a 7-wood than with a hybrid or a long iron. This sounds very appealing, we know, so make sure you have that 7-wood on hand and ready to use it if you need it. A few tips we have for the 7-wood will be you should use it like it's a chipper, and in the words of the great CJ Nafis, play it in the middle from the rough. The 7-wood can help you escape bad lies, like punching out of deep grass while keeping it under tree branches to hit this shot. Play the ball centered in your stance and choke up an inch. Make a 3/4 backswing, but don't chop it down. The ball position takes care of the steeper attack angle. It will fly low with plenty of runouts. Everyone who knows something about golf knows that CJ Nafis is one of the best instructors, and if he tells you to use a 7-wood, you use a 7-wood. Now, if you really don't like 7-woods, at least use your utility irons. We already know some of you are coming for us in the comments and just won't use 7-woods. This is perfectly fine if you don't want to use 7-woods or even a hybrid. Most pro PGA players have stopped using conventional long irons and opted to use utility irons instead. This is a trend you should consider following if you want to use carry long irons. The added heft on the sole will help you get some air under those shots, and a lot of sports bringing cups and L faces will add some pop to your shots. We prefer 7-woods or hybrids, but if you opt to use irons, this is the best course of action. Next, you should remember to always bring your mallets. We know that the Ping Answer putter has been used in the PGA Tour so much that it's basically a sin not to use one, and most everyday players will be carrying one around in their bags. Half a century ago, sure, it was better than sliced bread, but now we see more and more pro players using mallets, with more than 50% of tour players having mallets in their bags, as it offers more stability on mishits, and the alignment feature is also a great asset. A few great ones are the Odyssey 2-ball, the TaylorMade Spider we've seen Rory McIlroy use as his preferred putter, the Scotty Cameron Phantom, and the Ping Tyne series, which are quite popular at the elite level. Now, if tour pros can win millions with these mallets, you are a shoo-in to win the next competition you sign up for, so you should always carry 4 or even 5 wedges. Now, if we see you carrying a bag of clubs and the only wedges you have say P and S, we will be sending you for a psychological evaluation. A lot of pro players carry 4 or even 5 wedges, including a pitching wedge. Now, you might think they do this only to blast the ball so far that it almost travels across oceans, and yes, that is true, but you need to keep your game in mind. You need a club to send the ball flying 50 to 125 yards on your second or third shot, as you have to remember you're not as skilled as the pro players when you're at the half shot. Luckily, the loft gaps of the long end and iron sets are more compressed, usually with only a 3-degree difference between the 4th and 5th iron, and they're more spaced out in the shorter end with only a 4 or 5-degree difference. So you can ditch the 4 iron and add another wedge. You're most likely already using the 5 iron to hit the same distance. Stewart Cink, Brandon Steele, and Lee Westwood all use the gap wedge, so remember to add it to your arsenal in the future. Next, a stiff shaft isn't a good shaft in golf. One of the main issues talked about by pro players is how their pro-am partner shafts are always too stiff. A flexible shaft will give you an easier time when going through the ball, and it might just add a little bit of extra height. This is an issue that a lot of players face, and if you can work on this problem, you'll see great results in your golf games. Now, remember to use the adjustable feature on your driver. Now, we know you had a fit check, and the clubs work great for you, but this doesn't mean you should just forget about the adjustable feature on your driver. Now, before you go out into competitions, take your trusty driver a bucket of golf balls and a wrench to your driving range and play around with the settings. See what will happen if you switch it around. You never know what situation you'll find yourself in, and if you already know how to adjust your driver accordingly, you might just get out of a tough spot. Great players like Charles Howell even said that one thing I've learned to do is that I change it everywhere I can. Even in settings I know I likely will never end up playing. This is a great way to practice shots that you would never actually have to do in a competition. Trial and error can be one of your best allies when you're playing golf. Another important secret, fitting your clubs isn't enough. Yes, we're back to fitting, and fitting your clubs is very important, but you have to fit your balls as well. Pros aren't out there playing with no-name two-piece surly balls. materials. No, they're using multi-layered urethane balls. If you want to better your game and better your performance on the green, you need to get a ball like this. Now, there are a lot of different ones and you'll need to test around to find the ones that work best for you. Titleist and Callaway have 3 models to choose from, excluding their specialty models. Bridgestone has 4, TaylorMade has 2, Srixon has multiple models as well. They all do the distance job pretty well and hit roughly the same distance, so you should test the ball around the 125 yards mark and near the green. Here you'll see the biggest differences. Even the very talented Tiger Woods' final check to see if he'll use a ball is to see how well its trajectory is when he chip shots it. Finally, always be prepared for bad weather. There's nothing worse than bad weather when you're out on the course. A drop of rain and you might find yourself sitting at home with a good book rather than being out and about. Now, a lot of players hate to get wet, but the main reason most people stay home is because bad weather can make the game so much harder. Most everyday golfers don't come prepared for bad weather. And no, being prepared doesn't mean you have an umbrella in your bag. A rain suit is a great asset, as it'll keep you fairly dry. Rain gloves are a must, as it will enhance your grip. You'll need a towel over your clubs, and a backup in case the first one gets too wet. And if you can have a waterproof cover over them, it's even better. Tom Watson is one of the best bad weather players, and he said, "You just try to do the best that you can to keep your grips dry and your wits about you." If you follow these tips and Tom's advice, you'll be excited each time you see a dark cloud above you, as you'll be playing chess and your opponents are playing checkers. This is all the time we have for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a comment and tell us your thoughts on what tips you'll be using. Remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. See ya!